I want to have a conversation with you about internet privacy, or the lack of internet privacy, which is the situation that we're in today. So I want to start by showing you a screen grab from my PC. You can see here that I was scrolling through Facebook, and look what popped up. It was an advert for network distribution. Now, I understand that Facebook is a company and they need to make money, and they don't charge their customers, that is the users, so they have to make money through advertising. That's how it works. However, it's not just some random advert. It's an advert specifically for a company called Network Distribution. They're a Blu-ray and DVD seller in the UK. So I was on the network distribution site, and Facebook knows that I was on it. So Facebook are poking around in my internet history among the cookies that are stored there to see what I've been doing. They're doing this without my knowledge, and there isn't even a human being involved in this process because it's actually done all by computers. But it's just the fact that they have access to that is kind of bothering to me. I'm not private when I'm searching the internet. Right? Not only do Facebook know that I was on the network distribution site, but they specifically know that when I was there, I did a search for Terrahawks. Because you can see, look what the product is. They're trying to sell me a copy of Terrahawks, because that's what I looked for. And they know it. So I had a conversation about internet privacy with a friend of mine recently, and he said, does it really matter if you're not doing anything wrong? Well, yeah, it does, because if they're poking through this, they're poking through everything, and it doesn't matter. It's not what I'm looking at. It's the principle of the fact that nothing I do is private. Now, I had an experience yesterday that shows you how, even though your internet surfing history might be completely innocent, it shows you that things still can go awry. So there I was in work, doing my job, and I hear my phone ringing in my pocket. So I take it out. First thing I notice is that the number of the caller has been hidden. So I thought, but I answered the call anyway. And I immediately had an English-speaking accent female that I did not recognize, and I thought, oh, right, it's some kind of business call. So she introduced herself, her business. It was some kind of photography business. And I was wondering, how do you get my number? I didn't even have to ask, because she said, she name-dropped two people whose names I knew, a husband and a wife. Said that they had used their company. It was a photography company, so they were trying to sell me like a photography session, maybe that me or my wife, I don't have a wife, might like to come in and do some photography. I guess they want me to fly over to England, to do this. But they name dropped these two people, so I knew that somehow they'd got my phone number through these two people. And I thought, would this guy really have just given my personal phone number out like that to a company that he might have used because he wanted to recommend the company to people? That's just not something that people do. So I said I'm not interested, and please take my number off your database, and that was fine. I hung up. It's a good job I'm kind of savvy that way, isn't it? Because this was a scam. Well, at the very least, it was a company who had got my number through foul means. I have had that confirmed to me because I've spoken to the person since then. I sent him a message earlier today, and he confirmed, yes, this has happened to several other people. It looks like an app on my phone has shared my data with an outside company without my permission. You see? So my phone number fell into the hands of a company, if it even was a company, without anyone's knowledge, because we've no privacy anymore. So my friend's address book and everything in it was an open book to someone else. My suspicion, because the number was hidden, my suspicion is that this was not even a real business. That this was a scam artist who was trying to put on a front of being a photography business so that I would agree to have a photography session, and would I please make a down payment right now using my debit card. That's what was common, I think. That's what was common. But I just said, no thank you, not interested, goodbye. Privacy is important. We've got to get it back. I don't know if we can. Another thing that happened to me recently was I came across an old document of mine where I had stored some information about logins and passwords, and I spotted the login details for an old Yahoo Mail account that I haven't used in over a decade. But the login was there, the password was there, and I thought, I'll just log in to see what's there and maybe just to close the account. So I went to Yahoo and I went to log into their mail service, and immediately I was presented with a pop-up that said, we need these permissions from you in order for you to proceed. And they were all permissions relating to, will you let us use your data? And you could hit agree or disagree. So I hit disagree, and they immediately said, well, goodbye then, you're not allowed to use our service. Excuse me? I have an account with you folks, and now I can't log into it. I can't log into it even to close it without first agreeing to let you poke through my data. You see? I'm sure you're all familiar with going to websites and immediately being presented with a pop-up that says, please agree to these terms. And when you say no, you don't get to access the website. You see, people were annoyed about privacy a while ago, and legislation was put into effect that companies could not just take your data without you knowing about it. The effect of this has not been to stop the problem and give us back our privacy. The effect has been for the companies simply to change their strategy of saying, now we're asking you to give us your data. If you don't give it to us, you're not using our service, or you're not visiting this website. And the websites and services have sufficiently established popularity that a lot of people are going to go, well, okay, take my data. I'm starting to get into a habit now of when I click on a piece of interesting news and it takes me to a site and that site asks me for my data, I say no. And if the site then refuses to let me see what the article I wanted to look at, then I simply say, forget about it. I don't do it. I am a Facebook user. I'm going to continue to do that for the time being. Although I hate it. I hate their business model with a passion. Slightly different subject, but interrelated, is the fact that their business model is supported by advertising means that they make money through your attention. So the more attention you give the app or the website, if you're using it on a PC, the more attention you give Facebook, the more money Facebook makes. So it's in their interests to make you as addicted as possible to their service. You see? And I can't give you specific references here for this, but I have heard that Facebook employ people who have worked in Vegas, as in the casinos, to develop their product. So this is kind of nefarious. This is based on addiction. Now that's fine if you're an adult of sound mind who's intelligent enough to be savvy about these things, where you can realize, yeah, I feel the pull of these sorts of services. They want to keep me there all the time, but I'm going to just limit myself to a certain number of hours or a certain number of minutes, even better, per day. I'm going to limit myself. That's fine if you're an adult. But I think the age limit for Facebook, I could be wrong about this, but I think you have to be something like 13, 14. You know, they target kids. And, have you never... It's... Facebook... All you got to do if you're a kid to get a Facebook account is lie about your age. They're all on it from no age. And kids are clueless about things that are bad for them. They don't know how to handle addictions. And there's a lot of adults don't know how to handle addictions. So yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I hate it. I hate the business model that it's built around. I hate the lack of privacy that I have on it. How do we get back our internet privacy? I don't know. It feels like having to move a mountain. This is the internet that we have today, and it really sucks. It really sucks. As you all know, I'm a YouTube user, since you're watching this on YouTube. I'm heavily invested there because over the past 10 years, a reasonably large following has emerged. Well, I say a large, I'm certainly not a big player on YouTube, but it's enough to maintain my interest and keep me making videos. But I hate it here too. Hate it on YouTube. I do have a BitChute account if anybody's curious about that. YouTube feels like it's falling apart these days due to the way that it's treating some of its users. Yeah, and I'm veering off onto other subjects here, but it's quite common now to find a channel being not only demonetized, but simply being erased completely because of some complaints or some vacuous notions about hate speech. Yeah, we're seeing this more and more. Google have made a complete mess of things here. No doubt about that. So anyway, that's a little tech rant here. Mainly I just want to make people more aware of the importance of internet privacy. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what's going to transpire in the next while, but I hate it here. I don't know if you noticed, but on that screenshot that I showed you, that's a fairly unfamiliar looking operating system to most. If you look at the bottom left corner, that's not the Windows logo there on the start menu. That's Linux Mint. So I'm now a Linux user. I've adopted this recently as an alternative to Windows because Windows is all about spying too. And yeah, I'm finding it to be a very good experience actually. Much better than the Windows experience. Anyway, hope you found some of this interesting. Take care, folks.